So let's talk about one of the biggest, most powerful laws in modern strategy: perception positioning. You know, a lot of businesses, probably most of them, operate under this huge illusion. They think their brand is something they create in a boardroom, something they write down in a mission statement and then just broadcast to the world. But what if that's totally backwards? What if your brand isn't what you say it is at all? What if it's what your customers decide it is, based on 1,000 tiny moments of truth? We're about to dive deep into that dangerous gap between what a company promises and what it actually delivers, and why closing that gap is the only marketing that really matters.
Okay, let's kick this off with an idea that really reframes everything. This quote here, it's not just about sales. It's a perfect metaphor for how you build brand trust today. The old way of doing things was the large pitch. You know, the giant ad campaign, the splashy product launch, the big sweeping promise. But let's be honest, in a world where everyone is making claims, that model is broken. Trust isn't won with one grand gesture. Instead, the entire battle for a customer's loyalty is won or lost at the lowest friction points, through a whole series of small, validated moments. Every single interaction, from how fast your website loads to the tone of a support email, is a chance for a customer to give you a small yes, or a devastating small no. And it's the sum of all those little verdicts that is your brand.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with this idea of the small yes and see how it really challenges branding as we know it. Then we'll get into the great perception gap. That's the core problem we need to solve. We'll unpack the cycle of truth, which is pretty much unavoidable. We'll explore the psychology of why our perceptions become so real to us. Then we'll lay out a practical alignment framework. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the ultimate principle: the difference between just saying something and actually doing it. All right, so let's dig into that foundational idea. To really get a handle on perception, we first have to answer a question that, frankly, most marketing departments are terrified to answer honestly. Who is actually in control of your brand? And that question forces us to stop thinking about clever slogans and ad budgets and instead face the hard, undeniable reality of tangible proof, delivered one small experience at a time. So let's ask it directly. Who really defines your brand? Is it that beautifully framed mission statement hanging on your office wall? Or is it the real, lived-in, cumulative experience of every single customer who ever interacts with your product, your website, your people? Well, the uncomfortable truth is that companies don't own their brands. Customers do. Your brand is this living, breathing thing that exists entirely in the minds of your audience. And it's shaped not by what you claim, but by what they experience firsthand. And this conflict between the promise and the reality, well, this is where almost all brand decay, customer churn, and wasted marketing money comes from. It's this dangerous, often invisible space that exists inside way too many companies. This is what we call the Great Perception Gap. So, to put it formally, the perception gap is the structural misalignment between a company's stated identity, that's what it claims to be, and its delivered experience, what it actually provides. When those two things are out of sync, trust doesn't just get weaker, it evaporates. This isn't just some minor messaging problem you can fix with better copy. It's a fundamental breakdown of the contract a company makes with its customers. It's the starting point for cynicism, for bad reviews, and ultimately for strategic failure. And this slide just nails the conflict perfectly. On the left, you've got the company's marketing, their big promise. We are the fastest solution. That's their stated identity. It's on their website, in their ads, everywhere. But then, look to the right. This is the customer's actual reality. A slow-loading website, a 24-hour wait just to hear back from support. That's the delivered experience. In that moment of truth, which one wins? Well, it's not even a contest. The claim is instantly thrown out as a lie. In the customer's mind, the brand isn't fast. It's now anchored as slow, and maybe even worse, dishonest. And just like that, one small no just wiped out $1 million in advertising. So how does this conflict always resolve itself? It's not random. There's an inevitable, predictable system at play here, a mechanism we call the cycle of truth. And if you can understand this cycle, you can master perception. The cycle works in 3 really clear steps. First, you have the claim. The brand puts its stated identity out there. We are simple, we are premium, we are reliable. This sets an expectation. Second, and this is the most critical part, comes the test. The customer actually interacts with the company, and this becomes their delivered experience. This is the moment of truth where all your marketing gets put on trial. And finally, you get the verdict. Based on whether the experience lived up to the claim, an anchored perception is formed in that customer's mind. And this isn't just some fleeting opinion, it becomes their fixed reality of who you are.
And here's the absolute non-negotiable rule of this entire system. In this cycle, the delivered experience always wins. Every single time. There are no exceptions. It's the ultimate judge and jury of your brand. It either validates your promise, which creates this powerful, positive anchor of trust, or it completely destroys it, creating a negative anchor of distrust that is incredibly hard to pull up later. Your marketing slogans are totally powerless against the raw data of a customer's real-world interaction. Which brings us to this crucial outcome, perceptual anchoring. This is the process where that first-hand experience, whether it was good or bad, forms a powerful, almost permanent truth about your brand. The best way to think about it is like dropping a heavy anchor into the seabed of a customer's mind. Once that anchor is set, every future ad they see, every review they read, every single interaction is going to be interpreted through the lens of that first anchor. It becomes their default filter for everything about you. But why is this so powerful? I mean, why does one bad experience seem to carry so much more weight than $1 million ad campaign? To get that, we need to look at the psychology behind it all. We have to understand the fundamental code of the human operating system.
So let's just ask the question directly. Why is this anchor so permanent? Why can't we just, move it with better marketing copy or a slick new commercial? Well, the answer lies in two really powerful cognitive biases that are basically hardwired into our brains, and they make our first experiences incredibly sticky.
The first force is something called confirmation bias. This is our brain's natural and kind of lazy tendency to favor any information that confirms what we already believe. It's a mental shortcut. So once a customer has an experience that anchors your brand as slow, their brain will subconsciously go on a mission to prove that belief correct. They'll start noticing the website lagging again. They'll interpret a totally normal delay as just another sign of slowness. They'll actively look for and believe the one-star reviews that validate their opinion. Your marketing messages claiming you're fast are now fighting an uphill battle against the brain's deep-seated need to be right. And that's a battle you will almost always lose. The second force, which just amplifies everything, is social proof. We're social creatures, right? We are wired to trust the experiences of our tribe over the claims of some faceless company. So after a customer has a bad experience, all it takes is seeing one negative online review to validate that private feeling. That review is the social proof that their experience wasn't just a fluke, it's the norm. Suddenly, the perception isn't just their personal truth anymore, it's a shared public truth. At that point, the negative anchor isn't just set, it's being reinforced by the entire community, and it can spread like wildfire.
Okay, so we understand the problem, we get the mechanism, we see the psychology. How do we actually fix it? How do we go from theory to practice? This is where we bring in the alignment framework, a clear, actionable way to master perception positioning.
It comes down to 3 critical steps. First, you have to diagnose the gap. Stop guessing. Use real data, customer surveys, reviews, interviews, to scientifically measure the distance between what you claim and what they perceive. Second, you have to define the aligned experience. So if your promise is premium simplicity, what does that actually mean in the real world? You have to translate that into hard rules. Maybe it means support tickets get resolved in under 5 minutes, or the checkout process can't have more than 3 steps. These become your non-negotiable operational rules. And third, and this is the hardest but most important part, you must enforce organizational alignment. The goal of delivering that premium simplicity experience can't just be a marketing thing. It has to become the main performance metric, with real incentives for the product team, for engineering, for customer support, for the entire company. And here is the single most important strategic shift you have to make. You must start treating the delivered experience as your most critical, non-negotiable marketing investment. Every dollar you spend fixing a bug, training a support agent, or streamlining a process is a marketing dollar. In fact, it's the most effective marketing dollar you could possibly spend. Spending money to advertise a promise that your operations can't keep isn't just a waste, it's actively and efficiently destroying your own brand. All of this leads us to one single unifying principle that ties everything we've just talked about together. It is the essential truth at the very heart of perception positioning. You cannot control the narrative. Let me say that again. You cannot control what people say about you. You can't control reviews, you can't control social media, and you definitely can't control what a customer anchors in their mind. All of that is an outcome. The only thing you can truly actually control is the input, the experience you deliver. And it turns out that's the only thing that really matters. Your focus has to shift away from trying to craft a message and toward meticulously engineering a reality that earns it. So at the end of the day, what does this all mean? It means the best marketing isn't really about persuasion or sales funnels or clever taglines. The best marketing is simply proof. It is the daily, operational act of closing the gap between what you say and what you do. And when your delivered experience consistently validates your stated identity, you don't even need to shout. Your customers will do it for you. Their experience becomes your story. And that is the only narrative that is ever truly believed.